Now, before we dive into Parent Square, I just wanted to show a quick overview of what all the parts are, and then you can dive deeper into each one. So, first of all, Parent Square is a communication tool, and it lets us communicate with staff, parents, and also students at the high school level. Now, Parent Square is meant to be one hub for all of these communications, and it's going to replace things like Blackboard, Remind, Blooms, and the Skyward Message Center. So, to get started, you're going to click on Sign In, and then you're going to sign in with Google. This would be a great place to pause the video, log into Parent Square, and bookmark it, and then we're going to check out account information and notification settings. Now, if you do work at multiple schools, you can change which school in the top left-hand corner, and that will get you to the home page. Now, if you go into the upper right-hand corner and click the drop-down arrow next to your name, we're going to go and take care of the account settings and notification settings. And click on My Account. Then under your name, you're going to see the Edit button. So here you can change how your name is displayed, as well as your contact information that is hidden from families. And you can also upload a photo of yourself, add a little bit more information, and that's going to be up to you. But once you're done, go ahead and hit save. Next, I would go up to the upper right-hand corner and customize your settings. Now, Parent Square has 3 different forms of communication. There are alerts, and these are emergency alerts. And then school alerts like school closures, early pickup, and these are things you can turn on or off. Next, there's messages. So messages, there's some different types. Mostly these seem to be the direct messages, reminders, things like this. And for those, you can have that be an email, a text, or you can get this on the app. So you can toggle those on or off. And lastly, there's posts. So posts, you can see you have some different options. Instant is as soon as somebody sends a message, you're going to get that. Compared to digest, it's going to receive those. And at the end of the day, you'll get one large message with all of your posts instead of individual posts. So this would be a great place to pause the video and go check out your own account settings and your notifications, and maybe download the app if that's something you're interested in. Then we're going to go ahead and get started with posts and add-ons. So now I'm back on the home page, and we're going to navigate using the left-hand column, and under Communicate, again, they have those 3 types of messages: posts, messages, and alerts. And we're going to start with posts, and that's already in the center of my screen here, and I can have access to the posts that were already sent. So if I go over to New Post, if you click the little drop-down arrow, you see you have some different types of posts. New post, a poll, or a conference sign up. And you can look at that in a little bit, but we're going to start with just the basics. So a new post. So when I open this up, you'll see you have the To field. And when I click on To, you're going to have a list tailored to you based on classes that you teach, the buildings that you're in. So here you can see I can send to all the teachers or all staff. But let's choose 12th grade. So within this group, who do I want to get this message? And here I can click this drop down, and I can choose staff, parents, or for high school only, I can choose students. So maybe I just want 12th grade students to get this message, or maybe I want students and parents. So you have those options, and you'll see the number change here. On the notification options, you can have this be based on the user's preference. So if I chose digest, this will be digested, and I'll get this message at the end of the day with any other messages. Or if this is something important, you can override that and send it instantly. So we're going to go ahead and go down, and just like an email, you have a subject line. Then in the body of your message, you do have some options for formatting, but you also have an option here for templates. So you can use their templates, and you'll see that it brings up a template that you can complete, and you can also go and create your own templates. And before we continue, I probably should mention this is live data. If I hit post now, this really will go to the 12th grade students and parents. So just be careful while we're practicing in here. I'm going to go ahead and take out the To field just to help with that while you're exploring. So we're going to go ahead and just look down these add-ons quickly. So calendar events, you'll see that at the bottom. You can send out a calendar event to all of your parents, for example, or this could be repeating on when your office hours are, and send that out to students with a link to your Zoom meeting. You'll see there's some different options for reminders and RSVP. Attaching photos or files isn't available. Forms and permissions is a nice one. So here I can put the date that the form is due by. Does it need parent signature? Um, and maybe I need to know if this is a field trip, are they going to have lunch at school or bring their lunch? So you can have questions here. You can add additional questions. And you can also ask for items. Maybe you need some glue sticks for something. You can say you need 5. You can add other items, the date that you need them by. And lastly, we can look at volunteers. You can see the date, the different tasks, and the time. So it's kind of like you've brought Sign Up Genius in to the other tools that are available here. When you're ready to send your post, I would suggest first clicking on the preview button and just reviewing everything before it does go out. And then you could post now. There's also the drop down where you can save your draft or schedule this to post out later. So this is a good time to press pause, explore posts, remembering that it's live data, so I wouldn't post anything yet. And then we're going to check out messages. And messages are really meant as direct messages, usually small groups, not entire classes or things like a post. So if I click on new message, now let's click on recipients. And here you have a pretty robust search field. So for example, if I type in Michael, it's going to give me a list of all of the staff members with that name, students with that name, parents with that name, as well as any parents that have a student named Michael. If you do put more than one person, these could be individual private messages or one large group message. For messages, you really can type a message. It does not have all the robust features like the add-ons of a post, but you can add photos or files. So now would be a great time to pause the video and send one of your peers a message, and then we're going to jump into groups. So next we're going to explore groups, which is under Participate. Now here you're going to see some groups that have already been established for you, but once you have students in your class in Skyward, and that syncs up with Parent Square, you're going to see a new group button. So if you don't see it now, don't worry, it will be there soon. Once you get here, there's 2 different kinds of groups you can create. A static group would be specific users and it will stick with those users, where the auto update group would be if you wanted just students in ELL, for example, and as that information changed, this group would change with it. So I'm going to create a new static group. When you create a group, you can name it, add a description, and add a category. Groups can also be public, where people can opt in, or they can be private. There's also advanced features, and by check marking this, it would allow other people in the group to respond to everybody else, and they could also read other people's comments. So I would be really mindful when you're using those features. Now you can add additional owners, so owners would be able to publish to the group and read comments, even though these 2 were left unchecked. Next, you can add students, adults, or you can upload through a CSV file, and all you would need would be the ID number for the students or staff members, and then go ahead and hit save. So now would be a great time to pause the video and explore groups. Just remember, you won't have that ability to create new groups until you have students associated with your class. Now we're going to explore the daily health screening and help. Each day, staff and students that are on site will need to complete the daily health screening. You can get to the daily health screening by going to the page with your posts. The next page simply asks you to check mark your name or anybody else in your family that attends the school district. And then there are 2 questions and allow you to read that on the page. Then you're going to complete the information below so that you can submit this form. The next page is simply a confirmation as well as your screening history. Nurses and health assistants within your building will verify that people on site have completed these daily. So the last piece I wanted to share with you was the help. So if you click on the question mark in the upper right corner and go to help pages, and then click on teachers and see all 13 articles. So here's a list of teacher supports, and you can find the exact information that you need for your individual purposes. So for example, if you do some sort of after school program or online program for robotics, you could create a group just for that and find out more about groups. If you're interested in finding out more about conference signups, you can review that here, or you can just remember to click on that question mark as we get closer to that time. And there's also information about things like room parents. But that's a big overview, and here's where you can get additional information for your own supports. Thanks.